All right, we are closing in the final stretch of the 136th Royal Canadian Henley Regatta. This is day four of finals. This is Sunday. Heats started on Tuesday at 8 a.m. It's currently approaching 2 p.m. on Sunday. It's been a long week, but some of these athletes have a couple more strokes to pull. This is going to be the start of the women's championship single. In the lane closest to us, that is the neon green yellow hat. Lane 2, that's the U.S. Training Center. Lane 3, Cascadilla. Lane 4, Upper Valley. Lane 5, University Victoria. Lane 6, Western Rowing Club. And Lane 7, Winnipeg Rowing Club.
Yeah, this event, I've been looking forward to this one. Five of the six athletes have experience at international competitions. Allison Baker is run out of the U.S. Training Center. She's the only one who hasn't yet competed on the world stage. She's rowed for Ohio State. Out of Cascadilla, we have Taylor Goitsinger. She's a graduate of Cornell. She raced for the U.S. at the Under 23 World Championships, winning in the women's eight. At the 23 World, she finished fourth in the pair. There's just so much depth in this event, and it looks like right off the bat we have from UVic, Layla Balouche jumping out to an early lead.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see. I mean, we've seen certainly the far side of our screen. The University of Victoria, Western, and Winnipeg athletes have been racing all week long. I'm not as familiar. Certainly, Allison Baker, as a U.S. Training Center athlete, likely only racing the championship event here at the Canadian Henley event. Cascadilla, Upper Valley, I'm not too familiar with those athletes. Not sure if I've noticed their names come across the screen. They may have raced certainly the Canadians. It is very much an American lane 2, 3, 4, Canadians lane 5, 6, 7. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
Yeah, in lane four from Upper Valley, looks to be doing quite well. We have Heidi Robbins. She's a graduate of Princeton. 2011, she raced in the Under 23 World Championships in the women's eight, coming third. In 2012, she won the women's eight at the Under 23 Worlds. 2014, she raced Senior Worlds in the women's eight and won, and the same in 2015. So she's just bringing loads of international race experience, knowing how to win to this event.
That is absolutely an incredible pedigree, and just the more we get into the experience of these athletes racing here in the women's championship single, Mike, I have to say it's exciting. I'm really excited to see how it plays out and how the high level of international experience and pedigree plays itself out. But here we see in lane 6, that's Shannon Kennedy, possibly the youngest or certainly least experienced athlete. She is new to the sport. We say new to the sport. She's new to the sport in the last, I think, 3 years, having come off of, I believe, track and field and switching sports into rowing. She's definitely putting herself in the hunt as she's chasing down the leaders in third place right now.
Yeah, new athlete, yet in 2016 she raced at FISU Games in the women's double. There's so much pedigree here. Lila Balouche, who looked to be in the lead coming through the 500 meter mark, she's a psychology student at the University of Victoria, originally from Burnaby, BC. She raced for Canada at the 2016 Under 23 World Championships, coming 10th in the women's single there.
And of course, Michelle Truax, rounding out the Canadian contingent. She has had quite the week, winning the senior women's pair, winning the senior women's single. She knows what it takes to win a Canadian Henley medal, certainly this week. Last year, I believe, as well. She's raced for Canada, I believe, in the 2016 Senior Worlds in the four, if I'm not mistaken. So all of these athletes, they really know what it's going to take, what they have to throw at this race, trying to chase each other down and put themselves in a position where they can win.
Yeah, it looks like Lila Balouche still holding the lead there. Shannon Kennedy and Heidi Robbins aren't letting her get away. The small boats, this is where you're going to see more of the chess match taking place, some athletes sitting back. Lila Balouche she came through the 500 meter mark at a fairly low stroke rate of 29 strokes a minute. Currently, she's sitting, again, same thing, 29 and a half strokes a minute. Lots of room to move up her stroke rate if she's challenged. Looks like Shannon Kennedy is trying to make a push here and challenge her, forcing Lila to maybe show her hand a little bit early.
And of course, you have Shannon Kennedy trying to push up into contention. She's, I think, just being led by Heidi Robbins in lane 4 out of Upper Valley as they're both trying to chase down Layla Balouche as they approach the 1,000-meter mark. Shannon Kennedy, you want to talk about coaches. She's got Mark Henry, certainly a long-standing, very competitive Canadian national team member, really strong on the Canadian club and university circuit at the beginning of the decade before moving into racing at the under 23 level and the senior level as a lightweight. Mark Henry, an excellent single sculler, double sculler. He was just one of the guys you knew if you were going to race him in a sculling event. Mark Henry knew how to move that single. Now he's kind of transitioning to coaching, working with Shannon and trying to get her prepared and move up onto the senior national team.
Yeah, Lila's still holding the lead as we move through the 1,000, heading around the 1,200-meter mark. This is the point where the coaches and their teammates are going to be on Henley Island, walking up to the shoreline, sending some words of encouragement across the island here. Layla looking very strong. I mean, the winner of this event, they're going to join some pretty elite athletes. This event started as the elite single in 1990, became known as a champ single in 2000. We've had winners from New Zealand, Russia, Germany. Sonia Waddell, an Olympian and world champion from New Zealand, won this event. Carlene Zeman and Isolde Penny from Canada. They're the only two-time winners of this event. And another big name to look for, Genevieve Stone, 2016 Olympic silver medalist. She won this event in 2013.
That is really exciting and really just speaks to the caliber that is required to win, particularly at these championship events here that kind of close off the rest of the Canadian Henley Regatta. Of course, Carlene Zeman, the Canadian single sculler for in Rio, and really the last couple years doing an excellent job there. She actually, coming off an injury, returned to the international scene at World Cup 3 earlier this year, where she finished in bronze. Last year as well, finishing in this event. Behind Carling was Ellen Gladdo. She was one of the lightweight national team scullers in Victoria, BC for Canada. She placed earlier this year second in the World Cup 1 lightweight women's single. So really a high pedigree. If you want to be competitive in the championship events here at Canadian Henley, you've got to have pretty much an international pedigree.
It's getting more and more difficult. Next year is going to be an Olympic qualifying year, so the athletes that are here, they're going to want to make sure they're prepared next year to try and make the national team, and then when they go to the Worlds, try and qualify their boat for the Olympics. Looks like Layla Balouche coming through the 15. She had a 6.5-second lead. So for her, she's making a strong statement that she wants Rowing Canada to look at her and really consider her over the next couple of years as they get ready for Tokyo.
Yeah, and that's one thing you definitely have to be aware of with the way rowing and Olympic rowing works. The system is that your country has to qualify in the year before an Olympic year, or perhaps get the last chance qualification early in the Olympic year, which you don't want to put yourself in that kind of last chance scrambling position. But what you do, you qualify your boat class for your country. So you might see Canada qualify, let's say, a women's 8 next year. That doesn't mean the women that race the 8 to qualify next year are guaranteed that spot in 2020. That means just that Canada will have an entry in the 8 in Tokyo. Of course, hoping to see a lot of Canadian crews making qualifications next year. Wishing good luck to all of our Canadian crews that are going to, not only race at the World Championships this year, next year, and all the way through.
Looks like we got Layla Balouche here. She's hit the red buoys. She has about 100 meters to go left in this race. Being pushed, you have Heidi Robbins still making a strong push there. Looks like she's going to finish second, but Layla Balouche has sculled a wonderful race and is going to cross this line, winning the championship single, adding her name to a very esteemed list of sculling luminaries.
Yeah, and just nice to see in the picture-in-picture. I think that's a Hudson hat she might be wearing, even though that looks to be a Felipe shell. But I do like the fist pump. It's a nice celebration, the fist pump. It's one of my favorites, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure the University of Victoria's new women's coach, Barney Williams, is going to look forward to working with Layla over the next couple of years.
Yeah, they had a really dominant performance at the Canadian University Championships in the 8 last year. Probably looking to repeat that. Barney probably very excited to work with those athletes, that caliber, that roster he's going to have. And yeah, good luck to University of Victoria and, of course, all the athletes who will race at CUs this fall.